My name is Kevin Warren. I'm Chief Operating Officer with the Minnesota Vikings Football Club. I mean, it's been a phenomenal experience. You know, these type of opportunities, especially when you build a stadium, you know, they start in your heart and your soul and your spirit. They go to your head, they get down on paper, and then to see them come to reality is amazing. And so as we look back, and our biggest probably positive reflection is the impact it has had upon our fans, because that's really why we built it. You know, we wanted our players to have a more electric and more safe and better environment, but at the end of the day, we also wanted the fans to be able to experience something that was really special and unique. So there were many games that I took a step back and was able to watch, you know, mothers and daughters and fathers and sons and grandparents and friends to come together just to basically to relish in this opportunity of being involved in an environment where they're creating memories that will last a lifetime. Absolutely. I think what it does, it just galvanizes the fan base you already have, and it will attract some new fans, but it just pulls the existing fans that you have together. And that's the exciting thing about it. I mean, just to see the majority of the fans that we had over the years, all the way back to the Met, to the Metrodome, but now to US Bank Stadium, they've stayed consistent with us. I mean, we've had some season ticket holders who've been with us since 1961. And so it's really exciting to be able to see these families and friends and businesses to come together and just enjoy themselves in an incredible environment. I think the biggest hits were a list of them, to name a few, the ETFE roof, because you actually feel like you're outdoors, but you're inside. And so, you know, you have people wearing sunglasses indoors. The 5 pivoting doors are unbelievable. We were fortunate last year to have some great weather in Minnesota, so to have those doors open to get that fresh air on those nice Minnesota days was unbelievable. The food choices were outstanding. I think the other thing that the fans really liked is that a lot of stadiums are built, and although they have different club sections, they're really the same clubs in different locations. Our club sections are totally different. So you have Club Purple that has kind of that South Beach, Miami feel. And, you know, then you have the Valhalla Club. And you know, so it just really depends what people wanted. And we were able to service all the needs of all our fans, whether you wanted to be in a suite on the field or sit in the upper deck or be in Club Purple or have 50-yard line tickets. People were really able to get what they wanted. And I think the other things were the open corridors. It felt that you were at an event, but you weren't in a building. You know, you didn't feel like you were in a stadium or an arena. And that's what made it great. One of the things we did do, we engaged Disney, who's really helping us kind of with this whole kind of fan, you know, awareness program. And so we created our own what we call Skull Service program. And then some of it, the best way to engage the fans is nothing that's too formalized. That's really, as I call it, in one-to-one fan, you know, relationship. So every time I'm at a grocery store or a shopping mall or at a gas station or another sporting event, and I get a sense that people are Vikings fans or have been in our stadium or have heard about our stadium, I'll just ask them, what do you think? And then I ask them, what can we do better? And so it's just amazing. All that one-on-one interactivity will help you really get a chance to see what fans are thinking. I mean, our waiting list has definitely increased. The hospitality choices and even what we did just to even get better. We had a great first year, but we spent a lot of time this offseason being very critical to ask ourselves, what can we even do better next year? In the food choices, in the you know, comfortable environment, in the ticketing. We just tried to create an environment to say, what can we do to even be better? I mean, we felt that we got an A for a grade, but we wanted to be, you know, be better. And that's one of the reasons why we're even hiring this young man as our Gen Z strategic advisor to come in and ask him to look at the way we're doing business from a food standpoint, from a ticketing standpoint, from a merchandising standpoint, to say what can we do better and what can we do to cater to even this next generation of Gen Zers that coming along. Absolutely. Oh, they will be. Yeah, there are things that we have that people will be able to see, and we'll do this every year. And I think that's what makes it great. We'll do it every year. We have plans to put in resources to do what we need to do to make this place, not miss a beat, and no matter where you're from, you come in there and say, this is the best sporting environment in the world. Yeah, that's a great question. I think one of the things I would recommend would be just to make sure that you are sensitive and focus on the history. And because so many times teams and people have built new buildings. And what we didn't want to do was just to build a building. We wanted to basically create an environment where we could capture our history and the hearts and souls and minds and bodies and spirits of our fans, take their ideas, but to create an environment. So it happens that we play football in US Bank Stadium, but it's not the building that really set the tone. And so what we wanted to do is just to take pieces of Met Stadium. We wanted to take pieces of the Metrodome. You know, it had a lot of areas that were antiquated, but it had a lot of great areas. You know, its noise and its sight line and its closeness to the field. So we wanted to grab and capture all of those events and put them in a nice newer environment, which we've done. So my recommendation to other teams is don't just build a building, you know, basically be sensitive to your history, be sensitive to your culture, build an environment where you can bring out the best in that. They've hosted already over 300 events in a year. So from trade shows to concerts to high school football games to state championship soccer games to our games. And so that's what makes it base. It really has become, you know, an environment for people in the Twin Cities to be able to get a chance to use it. Steve LaCroix earlier talked about why we spend a lot of time, energy, money, and effort to build it where people can play baseball. So what we've tried to do is to create, again, not a building, but a culture and environment that's able to capture, you know, the hearts of people in Minnesota, and they feel that they're part of it and they're going to get use out of it. Yeah, I mean, one thing from a regular season standpoint, we do have affordable ticket program where people can go. And from a Super Bowl standpoint, what we've tried to do is just to create an environment, whether through social media, through television, through open house, that people at least will be able to come see the building and to be able to feel that they're a part of it. And so that's why we're excited, you know, about it, because we want to afford everyone an opportunity to get a chance. And I know the league has programs where certain fans who may not normally be able to afford it will be able to afford it, and we'll be excited to see how we can embrace those fans and make sure that they enjoy the experience. The other thing that we've tried to do is really spend a lot of time to create that best-in-class environment, and we focus a lot of time this off-season on what we call the elevated fan experience. That because we're very conscious and cognizant is that if you create an elevated fan experience, that the more you do that, the more people focus less on the cost of it. You typically will focus on the cost of something when your experience does not meet your expectations. But if your experience exceeds your expectations, the cost of it really becomes irrelevant. So, and that's what we've tried to do. And that's exactly what we're doing, because that's one of the things now. We want to be, for you to be able to put on goggles and to be able to experience that. And that's why our Vikings Entertainment Network, all of our social media platforms that we've engaged people around the world in. So whether you live in Dublin or you live in Tanzania or you live in Bangladesh, we want you to feel that you are part of the Vikings family, and that through all these various platforms that you are engaged, and through our merchandise program where we can ship things around the world, that you feel part of it. And so that's really important for us, because a lot of people won't get an opportunity to come to US Bank Stadium. I would tell these politicians to sit down with people like myself and our owners. I mean, that's one thing about it. Our ownership group with the Will family have been unbelievable. But I guarantee you, anyone in a political environment, if they would spend 30 minutes with people like myself to be able to sit down and explain how investments like this, how it's bigger than just a stadium. That's not what we're talking about. But the way this has revolutionized our community, it's created jobs. You know, is the economic impact that it's had not only on Vikings game days, but throughout the entire year. There are people who are just traveling in town to have a chance to tour. The numbers of tours that have happened in our stadium, and as I said during our presentation, there will be some individuals who will make a determination to come work for one of our many various Fortune 500 companies based upon the fact that they came and had an unbelievable experience at a Vikings game. And so they may make a determination. And so I think businesses are going to move there. So because hosting the Super Bowl and the Final Four, all of those different things really impact the community. So I would say to those politicians who question it, we are a prototypical public-private partnership that if you do it the right way, and the biggest thing is that our owners put in a major amount of money. That's the other thing. So hats off to the Wolf family for doing that. So it's not like they were just asking for a financial handout from governmental entities. They wrote checks, major checks themselves to create that fan experience. But I think if you'll talk to anyone in Minnesota, even people who voted against this will come back and say a year later that you could not have created a better public-private partnership. And as we tell people that we have the purple print for them to look at and say, this is how it can and should be done.